we get started, I wanted to just dispel a few myths about social media that I hear a lot from people who are just getting started. The first one is that social media is free. That is actually really not the case. Although opening a Facebook page or a Twitter page is free, there's not an actual charge for that. There are a lot of other hidden costs, or really obvious costs, in fact. One is staff. You really have to devote a decent amount of staff to monitoring and maintaining your social media presence and making sure that your brand is represented well. And any kind of ad support that you do for your posting on social media, which often is necessary, will add some to the cost. There's also third-party apps that you often will use, maybe for a contest or to monitor or to curate content. So those are costs that you need to consider. Also, social media isn't a task that you're just going to check off your list and then move on to the next thing. It's not going to be the 2014 fad, and then by 2015 it'll be gone. It's kind of like laundry. It's never totally done. It's a cycle. You go around and around. And so it's just one of those things that you have to kind of work into your marketing priorities and into your budget. So the last myth that I hear a lot of is that you can be successful overnight. And honestly, it is a marathon, not a sprint. You are going to be developing relationships with people, earning their trust, engaging with them, developing rapport, and those kinds of relationships, those kinds of engaging interactions with your followers and your members online, they take a lot of time. They have to be genuine, they have to be consistent, they have to be real. So those three myths are important to kind of understand as you're getting started with your social media marketing strategy. One of the things that I work with credit unions on is creating social media marketing strategies. And I usually ask or suggest that they come up with two larger business goals when they're beginning their strategy. You want to make sure those goals are clear, specific, and measurable. And you're going to use those goals to drive your social media objectives and your specific deliverables that you're going to execute on a weekly and daily basis, and track those all back to achieving those larger business goals. Okay, so like I said, you're going to define your larger quarterly marketing goals first in your strategy, and then you're going to set up some social media objectives that are going to relate to meeting those goals. After you've identified what you're going to do on social media to help meet those goals, then you're going to come up with a very clear list of tactical steps that you'll kind of keep track of on a weekly or even monthly basis to make sure you're meeting those goals and objectives. So let me give you a more specific example. Say you want to diversify or grow your membership base into a new market or a seg, and you've gotten approval, but you want to use social media now as part of your marketing to that new membership group. You would come up with a way, or come up with several ways that social media could help you target the new area or the new group. So in this example that I have for you, you would target the specific new area users on Facebook to become fans, and you would do that, say, through page-like ads. Then you would drive these new fans to your website or membership inquiry page. The idea being that you would acquire them as a fan on Facebook and then try to encourage them to become members through your membership information page on your website. Another way that you could target a new group through social media would be to begin a new blog, and you would blog consistently about topics that would be of interest to that audience that you're now targeting. So you would not only to blog about what you do as a credit union, but perhaps other areas of interest that that new targeted group would be interested in reading about or sharing content about. And then finally, you're going to come up with smaller tactical steps. So these are kind of your deliverables that will be assessed weekly or monthly. Those are going to be things like creating 3 to 5 page-like ads that will target new potential members in your new audience. Posting one time per week about satisfied customers that have provided positive feedback about your company. So this would be interesting for a new group of people because it would show that customers are in general happy about the service that they're getting from your credit union. Another example could be that you would feature 1 or 2 staff members each month in a post, say on Facebook, to show the human side of your credit union, maybe with a picture or some funny facts, kind of make you seem more of a person rather than just a brand. And from the blogging perspective, you would be trying to blog a couple of times a week. You would share this content on Facebook or any of your other social media networks that you are employing. And you would use a mix of original content and maybe a content service that would provide you with additional content so that you weren't having to write everything yourself. All of that you would try to track with conversion tracking and other ways that you can kind of really keep in Google Analytics, where you could really keep an eye on how your social media efforts are impacting your website traffic and potentially your new members. So once you have created your social media marketing strategy, most likely one of the platforms that you're going to be focusing on is going to be Facebook. And when you begin your process of posting on Facebook, there's a few things that you need to keep in mind as you get going. The first one is that you want to post when your fans are online. And we're going to show you how to find out through Facebook Insights. The second one is you're going to want to post when your other posts have done well. So you're going to look for patterns. If people are engaging and liking your posts at 7:30 in the evening, you want to continue to post kind of at that general time. Also, you don't want to post more than every 3 to 4 hours. If you're posting a lot more than that, you may end up going into people's news feeds too often, and they're going to they'll get irritated, and they may hide your posts or even unlike your page. And finally, I always tell people to experiment and try some unusual times of the day. Smartphone users actually, some crazy number, like 80% of them, check their phones when they first wake up in the morning. So I try to post sometimes for our business at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. You wouldn't necessarily think that that's a good time maybe to be posting on Facebook, but in fact, it can be a time where you're going to get a lot of engagement because people are awake and they just woke up, they turned off their alarm clock, and they're checking their Facebook page. So if you see here, you'll see that this is the top of a Facebook fan page. And if you click this little button that says See Insights, and you're going to go to your Facebook Insights, and you'll see this overview page that you land on. There's a lot of really great information here, and the two areas that you want to focus on when you're talking about posting and scheduling posting will be, the first one will be your posts. So when you go to posts, you will see that it will show you the history of all of your other posts, as well as it gives you a couple of options here, and one of them is when your fans are online. So when you click on when your fans are online, you will see that there is a nice chart here that breaks out the time of day and the day of the week. And it's kind of a running 7-day average that shows you, in general, when your fans are online. Usually fans tend to get online somewhere around mid-morning or midday, around lunchtime, and stay on until actually quite late in the evening. So it's important to post not all of your posts at 8 o'clock in the morning, say when you come to work, but rather to post maybe at 12:30, maybe another one at 5 p.m., maybe another one at 9:30 at night. So it's important to post when your fans are online. It's also important to post when other posts have been successful. So if you scroll down, you will see that all of your posts here have information about the day and time they were published, the type, the way they were targeted, their reach, and their engagement. If you go to the engagement tab here and click likes, comments, and shares, it will sort all of your posts by engagement. And you want to be posting around the same times of day that you're seeing a lot of engagement with your posts. When I schedule my posts, I use a program called Hootsuite, which many people are familiar with. There are also other programs out there that you can also use. Buffer is a popular one. Post Planner is a popular one. But most people don't realize that on Facebook there's also the option for scheduling your posts. So you don't actually have to post at 7:59 p.m. if that's when you want your post to go up. So if you click here on your fan page or your business's page and you type in your post, and then say you attach your photo, when you're ready to post it, instead of just clicking the post button, you're going to click this little clock and it will pop up all of the information that you'll need to enter in order to schedule your post on Facebook. So you can pick from this calendar, you can pick a day. So say you want to schedule it for a Saturday, even though you're not going to be in the office, it's important to post every day, including the weekends. And then you're going to pick a time. So this, you could pick a 9:20 at night on a Saturday if you wanted to. Then you're going to click the schedule button and your post is scheduled. Now it will pop up this little information box that says your post will be published and what time and day. And you can go back and actually edit those posts, which is really convenient. So if you make a mistake or you find a typo or you decide you don't want to do it, you can go back to your activity log and make an edit. And it will pop up all of your scheduled posts as well as the most recent posts. And you're going to click the little down arrow and edit, delete, publish now, reschedule. So you have several different options. So in this case, I'll delete the post because it was a test post. And then, are you sure you want to delete? And you say yes, delete post, and you're done. One of the things that credit unions also struggle with can be coming up with content to post, content other than what they are doing. One of the things you want to always try to remember when it comes to social media is that you are not just a brand, but you're a person, and all of your followers are people too. So you want to stick to what we call an 80-20 rule, where 80% of what you're posting on any of your social media networks is about areas of interest of your fans or your followers. And only 20% is going to be about what your business is doing, what your business message is, what you're selling, what service options you're trying to push to your fans. So then what do you do with the other 80%? That's what a lot of people wonder. There's a lot of really great tools out there for curating really cool content that people are going to be interested in and want to share. A couple of options for you. One is setting up a Google alert or multiple Google alerts. So say you have an area of members that are working in the airline industry, for example. You might set up some Google alerts around their industry, around their airline, around their airport, one of those kinds of areas of interest that might pique, that might send you some news that would pique their interest or be something that they would want to share. You also can find out a lot about your fans through Facebook's own graph search feature. And this is a feature that a lot of people don't know about on Facebook. Basically, you go to the top bar of your Facebook page or your business page, and you can type in statements that will help you research your fans. So for example, you could type in the statement, favorite pages of fans of McDonald's, and you would hit return or enter, and Facebook would pop up a list of other fan pages, other business pages that fans of McDonald's, the brand, are fans of. Now, why would that be useful to you as a credit union? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, if you have a group of people that you're trying to target that you know in your area might like a different brand or might be interested, you could find out what are some other areas of other pages that they like. You can find out more about what other pages your own fans like. So you could type in favorite pages of fans of your credit union and then hit enter, and you would find out their other favorite Facebook pages. You could, say you found out that they liked a certain comedian or a certain band or a certain TV show, you could post about those kinds of topics, and you might actually hit a nerve with somebody where they find something they want to share or they want to like or they want to comment on. And it will appear that it has absolutely nothing to do with your credit union or with your business objective, but in the long run, you're building rapport with your fans. You're making yourself seem like a human being rather than just a place to do business. And that's going to go a long way for them to build trust in you. They may become to rely on you for entertainment or for information, for good financial news. So all of that kind of content does serve a purpose in the long run. The last thing that I wanted to tell you about was content curating tools. Now, there are a lot of them out there. One of my favorite ones currently is called Scoop It. And they have a free version, and then they have some paid versions depending on what your level of need is. But that is going to be a service where you can put in certain topics that you're interested in, and it is a really nice curating tool. It will put together suggested articles and things that you can find from all over the web that might meet the criteria that you have established. It's a great way to find current, cool news or interesting visuals or things that you want to share. And then you can just share them on your Facebook page or share them on your Twitter account with your fans. So another great way to find useful content on a regular basis. The last item that you're going to need to take care of when you're implementing your social media marketing strategy is coming up with a response plan of action. And that can be very intimidating to people, but it's not as complicated as it might seem or feel like. In general, you're going to want to first identify the staff members that are going to be involved in your social media management and these responses. So you're going to need to have more than one admin for sure, especially in case of an emergency, probably more like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 people. Then you're also going to want to think through the different types of potential posts or scenarios that you may be faced with. And there's a lot of just general ones where you're going to have maybe a possibility of a negative post or the breach of policy. These are going to be few and far between kinds of instances, but for regulatory reasons and just in general for best practice, you're going to want to have a response plan in place to deal with those kinds of situations. Once you have identified the members of staff that are going to be involved and the potential scenarios or types of posts that will require responses, I suggest that you create a triage plan or flow chart for your community managers to follow. In this example that I'm showing you, you'll see that I have positive posts scenarios in green. So if you get a positive post or response or comment on your social media platform, you would go through this flow of response. The negative post potential would go through this blue area of flowchart, and the breach of policy is in red. Now, a couple of things that people do often worry about. Oh my goodness, if we get negative posts or if somebody posts their account number online, it's going to be so terrible. If you have a response plan in place, it's not a problem at all. In fact, it's a great way to showcase stellar customer service. I do suggest that when you're implementing your response time plan or your triage flowchart, that you set up a goal of a response time of 24 hours or less. In general, that can be challenging, perhaps on off times of business hours or over the weekend. And I think those times people are more forgiving online if it does take a day to get back to you. But most people online do expect very quick response times, so I think you should think of it as a great way to showcase stellar customer service and embrace the idea that you can provide very quick feedback to followers, to members, and to potential members online. So I hope these tips have been helpful. I know that social media marketing can seem daunting and endless, and it is something that's going to be an ongoing process. But there's a lot of possibilities out there for reaching members and delivering your message and really being useful to people and being beneficial to your members and potential members. So it is definitely the marketing of the future, and if you implement all of these suggestions, you will find a lot more success in your efforts.